Yesterday I was going through this presentation called Eyes of Providence by Imperium Agency. They have this course for customer acquisition, and they have this module called mindset, because mindset is the first thing that you need to be working on before really starting a business. Because if you don't have a business mindset, I don't think it's going to work well. And it might work well for some time, but then it's going to feel like a burden. So definitely mindset is something that everyone should be working on, no matter the goal. So I was reading this presentation, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that it completely shifted how I see myself, my everyday actions. It's not motivational stuff that's in the presentation. It's mostly like being handed a blueprint of um, why we do what we do, and why we sabotage ourselves even when we want more, we have bigger goals, and why we procrastinate. What's in it for me, like at the end of the presentation. So if you have ever wondered why you keep hitting the same obstacles despite wanting growth, or despite working for it, this is for you. The core of this presentation was built around what paradigm is. And paradigm does not only mean what you believe or what your ideologies are. It is the entire mental lens that you carry right here between your ears, and through which we experience life. And what hit me the most is that your paradigm is not reality. It's just a version of it. Your paradigm changes with time, it changes with your experiences, it changes with the people that come into your life, the experiences that you have. And we think we're making logical decisions and setting goals and having dreams. But we're actually just operating inside a loop. It's a loop that we've been programmed for years. And the scariest part is most of us don't even question it. Most of us just go with the flow, and that's not the way to go. Honestly, the way they explained it is something like, first you have a paradigm. It's your paradigm, right? That influences how you see things, which shapes your thoughts, which eventually shapes your options or choices. That's how you make decisions, that's how you take action, and that's what you get as a result. I'll put a chart right here to let you sink in that for a second. You're not just randomly making decisions every day, you're literally responding on how you see the world. It's everything that you do, everything that you say is based on the mental lens, on the mental paradigm that you have. Not a mental paradigm, but the overall paradigm that you have. So if you, for example, as an entrepreneur, so if you believe clients don't pay high ticket prices, that is because of your belief. That belief is already shaping your actions before you even pitch to the client, because you already believe they're not going to pay, right? There is a certain belief in your mind that they're not going to pay because they don't go for high ticket prices. So you eventually put your prices down, and that's even worse. And if you believe you're bad at follow-ups, that's again a paradigm, and it's determining your income. If you do believe that, you have a smaller income. If you don't believe that, you eventually have a bigger income, because you believe in a bigger thing, in a bigger goal, in a bigger outcome. And here's what I had to pause and reflect on. What are my invisible paradigms? How are my so-called realities are just borrowed beliefs I never questioned? I borrowed it from the experiences that I've had, the childhood that I had, the parents that I had, the friends that I had, the jobs that I was in, the college that I was in, the university I was in, the school I was in. It also showed this metaphor, it's an example basically, that people blindfolded There are 5 people who are blindfolded, who don't know what an elephant is, get to touch an elephant blindfolded. One is touching the tail, he thinks it's a snake. The other is touching the leg, he thinks it's a tree. The other is touching the ear, he thinks it's a fan. The other touches the trunk, that thinks it's a snake or something, or a horse. They're all wrong. Why? Because they're blinded by their paradigm. They all conceive the wrong things and they think they're right, if that makes sense. And that's how we live. We think we know what's possible for us, what's logical for us, what's too much, too less, but we're just touching one part of the truth, part of the truth that we believe in. This got me thinking about something very simple, which is sending follow-ups and just closing lines. A very simple thing. Some people follow up twice and feel guilty, others follow up 10 times and close 10k clients. The difference is no strategy. It's a belief system that they've created in their own head, a paradigm that they shifted. It's a paradigm in action. They see that follow-ups are value rather than irritation. So in your business, in your relationships, in your goals, whatever, it's a goal. It's not about what you do, it's about why you do. That why is buried in your lens, it's in your paradigm. And if that doesn't change, nothing else changes. So there's a quote, right? If nothing changes, nothing changes. So that's what it really means. And another big shift for me was when it said, you don't achieve goals, you grow into the kind of person who naturally achieves those goals. That's a massive mindset unlock. If I want to earn, let's say, $1 million a month, the real work is not in some new tactic that I want to apply. It's becoming the kind of person for whom that it's normal, for whom making $1 million a month is normal. I want to become that person. That means rewiring my beliefs around money, effort, time. Let's say I was taught as a kid, I was taught that people who have a lot of money are evil. They're not. I want to have a lot of money and I'm not evil, and I would never turn evil. I'm one of the kindest person. Humble brag, but that's not how it should be. That's not how it is. It's a paradigm that you've inherited from other people. So I definitely want to sabotage that idea. Now here's a little practical question. How do you actually change your paradigm? Because to shift a paradigm, you need one, as per the presentation, you need humility, repetition, which is consistency, and knowledge. Humility, because you want to admit you might have been wrong. Repetition, so the new idea becomes a default, like brushing. Knowledge, so you could be emotionally and logically be guided by that belief system. And it's not about that one aha moment. You're not going to have that. A lot of people just make a fuss about having that aha moment, although it happens because you start seeing things differently, and that's how you get the aha moment. So it's basically a paradigm shift. So it's about choosing to think differently again and again until your identity realigns with your goals. So until your identity is equal to the person that gets those goals, it's not going to happen. You have to rewire your brain into thinking, into believing, because your brain does not differentiate between imagination and reality. If you imagine that you're living in a $30 million villa in Argentina, it's actually happening for your brain. It's actually getting those serotonin and that high hormones that you do if you get to experience that in real. So you start believing first and then you get to it later. That's how it works. And now I can't unsee the eyes of Providence into everything that I do, what I eat, what I do, how I approach my clients, how I shoot, how I talk. I really don't care about how I look right now, how my video looks. It's just that I want to share this message with you. So, yeah, my paradigm is changing a little by little. So, now when I notice fear, hesitation, procrastination, I first ask myself, where is it coming from? And even if that identity of fearful person or a procrastinating person is something that my ideal self is or should be, right? Because it's never the task that's hard, it's the belief that that's in the way. So a little question for you: what belief are you carrying that's keeping you in the same loop?